Is Donald Trump purposely trying to lose the election? If the Madison Square Garden rally was anything to go by, the answer is yes.
America is for Americans and Americans only.
You want to speak at this MSG thing? I go, sure. Out of character for me to speak at a Nazi rally. I was just in Israel, but I took the gig.
It became clear to me, and hopefully to you too, that Trump has so many schemes in place to steal the election that even he can't keep them secret anymore.
I think with our little secret, we're going to do really well with the House, right? Our little secret is having a big impact. He and I have a secret. We'll tell you what it is when the race is over.
Remember, Trump has no inner monologue. He's too stupid for that. His narcissistic personality disorder prevents him from staying stumm. He thinks he's above criticism, above the rule of law, and above public scrutiny or accountability. This is why he doesn't think extorting Vladimir Zelensky or pressuring Brad Raffensperger or stealing classified documents is anything out of the ordinary. He doesn't operate on our frequency. So let's stop being surprised. Let's save our shock and horror. Let's be prepared. Because Trump is telling us that he has a plan to steal the election when he loses.
That crooked Joe Biden has done a terrible job. You've destroyed our country. We're not going to take it anymore. Kamala, you're fired. Get out. Get out. You're fired.
And sadly, America has facilitated his most potent urges by allowing him to get away with his last coup attempt, by gifting him broad immunity for committing crimes, and by not criminalizing him sooner for refusing the peaceful transfer of power in direct violation of his oath of office. You see, Trump and his most loyal surrogates are convinced of their success and popularity.
No, they've done very bad things to this country. They are indeed the enemy from within.
They think that most Americans are as racist as they are, or as misogynistic as they are, or as anti-abortion as they are, which is why they have this sense of entitlement, because they don't engage with reality. They and their supporters exist in an alternative reality. And Madison Square Garden was a perfect example of this.
Where titans of finance, fashion, and entertainment convene among an iconic range of superior design, structures, and artistic accomplishments.
Trump chose the speakers. Trump runs the show. It was no surprise to them that there was outright racism, hate speech, and abuse. Much of it came from Trump's own mouth. Trump is courting the dispossessed. He's created a sanctuary for anyone who has a grievance, or for anyone who feels marginalized by modern society, because they think that him being indicted and having his ugly mugshot taken and still running for president is badass. They support him because he's an adjudicated rapist, because of the Access Hollywood tape, because of the business fraud, because he sexualizes his own daughter, because he had sex with a porn star, and because he tried to overturn the election. We've been judging this movement by our standards and not theirs. So when we think, oh, this will be the last straw, they're going to realize that he's a racist or that he's a fraud and that he's stealing their money for his campaign or his legal fees or that he's profiteering off their insecurities. And why do they continue to support him? It's because they know. Deep down, they know they're being rinsed. They know he's a liar. They know he's a threat to democracy. And that's why they support him. He's like maximum sugar candy or smoking cigarettes. You know it's bad for you, but it's your guilty pleasure.
The energy of all these Trumpomaniacs is the most powerful force in the universe.
We have to think critically about the threat. Yes, it's a cult of personality that won't go quietly. Trump has given up pretending to be normal, right? He's old, he's tired, he's fighting for his own freedom, not for yours. So he's going all out to capture the waifs and strays and weirdos and extremists in society. The conspiracy theorists, the violent, the dissatisfied, the white supremacists who talk eugenics or great replacement theory. From Tucker Carlson to Elon Musk, these people now exist in the mainstream. They're rich. They're egomaniacs. And they're not hiding anymore. Elon didn't suddenly change his views. They were formed 40 years ago in South Africa, but to assimilate he had to play along, to live incognito, to mask his true feelings about people that didn't look like him. And now we learn that he himself may have been working illegally in the US, but rules don't apply to the white and privileged and English-speaking and male. The hypocrisy is rife. And now he's so rich that he can buy votes for Trump, even if it means being sued. With just 9 days left before the election, Trump used his New York rally to reiterate his vow to confront what he calls the enemy within, and again pledged to implement the largest deportation program in history. This Madison Square Garden event drew comparisons to the notorious 1939 Nazi rally held at the same location. Tim Walz remarked on the direct parallel between the two gatherings, while the DNC projected images outside the arena repeating claims from Trump's former chief of staff that Trump had praised Hitler.
We must elect Donald J. Trump president because we must crush jihad!
The rally carried a grim tone throughout its run, with one speaker calling Puerto Rico, home to 3.2 million U.S. citizens, an island of garbage.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Tucker Carlson was mocking Kamala Harris's racial identity.
As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor ever to be elected president, it was just a groundswell of popular support. And anyone who thinks otherwise is just a freak or a criminal.
Some radio guy was referring to Hillary Clinton as a sick bastard.
She is some sick bastard, that Hillary Clinton, huh? What a sick son of a bitch. The whole fucking party, a bunch of degenerates, lowlives, Jew haters, and lowlives.
And a childhood friend of Trump's was brandishing a crucifix on stage, proclaiming Kamala Harris to be the Antichrist.
She is the devil, whoever screamed that out. She is the Antichrist.
We're not just running against Kamala. I think a lot of our politicians here tonight know this. She means nothing. She's purely a vessel.
They're just vessels.
And that's all she is, Trump said. We're running against something far bigger than Joe or Kamala, far more powerful than them, which is a massive, vicious, radical left machine that runs today's Democrat Party. They're just vessels. What does Donald Trump mean by this? Obviously, it's not true. But by creating this imaginary bogeyman, by creating this image that people have to rise up against, he's doing exactly what he did on January 6th. Look, the only way to defeat this fascist movement is at the ballot box. Trump needs to lose by such a large margin, it will be difficult for even him to circumnavigate the results. Trump is manipulating polls to make it look like he's becoming more popular as the race goes on. I expect that by November 4th, the gap will close, not widen. This is all part of their plan. To claim he won because the polls said he was winning, except they're his polls. Polling is not scientific. In this election, they're being used and abused, weaponized to make all of us think that something is happening when it isn't. The corporate media are playing along too, because Jeopardy sells. It sells advertising, it gets ratings, it sells NFTs and gold sneakers. This entire movement is for profit. But don't fall for it. That's their twisted reality. Now you'll hear them denouncing the extremist speakers at the rally, the ones who swore or told racist jokes. They'll say they didn't know them or that they weren't part of the campaign, but they're lying. They knew exactly what drama would unfold and how the media would react in the hope that they could catch more flies in their web. But we aren't falling for it. We must stay focused. Trump loyalists working the polls will refuse to certify the results. Expect a whole month of chaos after November 5th with no outcome or winner declared. Expect Trump to say anything to try and swing the election, including incitement of violence. Take back our country or fight like hell are two phrases that spring to mind. Your vote is the only thing that can stop this insanity. The courts have failed, the press have failed, the judiciary has failed, lawyers have failed, and the special counsel does not have time on his side. Vote for reality. Vote for inclusivity. Vote for kindness. Vote for rights. The rights of women, the rights of minorities, the rights of asylum seekers, the rights of Americans. Vote for the right to vote. Kamala Harris must win by a landslide to finally put the nail in the Trumpism coffin. Do not stay home. Do not think it's somebody else's responsibility to vote. And don't just vote for Vice President Harris because she's not Donald Trump. Vote for her because she's presided over administration with Joe Biden for 4 years without daily scandals. An administration that has overseen the end of the pandemic, rising opportunity, falling inflation and unemployment, and record GDP and stock market. Go vote, because this is not a drill.
They are the enemy. What they've said, even that enemy too, when they're really the enemy, they're the enemy of the people, the press.
I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with Midas Touch.